What's up, guys? Back with another video. Today we're gonna go over a few things. We're gonna go over 8 things. We're gonna go over 8 things that they should avoid or shouldn't do. Pretty much 4 things to avoid getting caught, or at least reduce the chances of getting caught. First thing is, don't write near your home. I'll say the first one. If you write near your home, obviously they're gonna track you down and eventually trace you back to where you're at. I actually messed up and had a spot, like literally a whole fill-in straight letters. You guys actually have it in my channel, but you guys can see a quick image of it. I'll upload it right here. I actually did that at night. People are always asking me, how did you do that? Because like literally right off the main street, like it's right in your face. And it was pretty dark at night, so like since it was a rural area, it's not a rural area anymore, but it used to be kind of. There's no lights at night right there, and there was like actually a tweaker that got scared when she saw me come out, and she got startled because I came out of the dark, and I was literally filling it with a $1 paint stock tip. So to kind of let you guys know, I kind of took my time, but I was pretty nervous. And I didn't have a sketchbook or nothing like that, so I just went with the straight letters because I didn't really have anything in mind. I just wanted to hit the spot because I saw some little tags burning there for like years. So I was like, let my stuff burn there. It actually just got buffed a month ago because people were spot jockeying since they saw it burning so much. They wanted to, hit the spot, and their stuff burned for like 3 months, and they got my stuff buffed. So they just buffed the whole thing. And I don't even think it was the city. I'm starting to think it was the locals, but who knows. But anyways, I would say that's the one. I messed up, made that mistake, but luckily, since I don't live there no more, it's not a big deal, but it used to be. Obviously, just not to bring up that person, but that person, like, they got a trail on them because they literally hit the spot right at their house. That's all the only spot they hit. So, just one mistake to avoid. Another thing is, I would say another one would be, hitting government property. They'll build a case on you real quick. If you hit the government property or the suburbs, I would say those go hand in hand with one, because whenever you hit the suburbs area, you'll notice like there's police volunteers, neighborhood watch, and stuff like that. And when you start noticing that, that means you're in the suburbs. Obviously, you'll see it's nicer and things like that. I noticed that they go harder there because the whole community kind of gets together, and then on top of that, the cops there take it really serious. So since they don't have anything to do there, since there's really barely any crime, they'll kind of go after you. They'll go out of their way to go after you because they have nothing better to do. So just kind of give you guys an idea of what goes through their head. I had a friend who actually hit a spot in the suburbs. I was surprised. I mean, he was hitting like spots where like there's Ferraris, mansions on like houses on mountains and stuff like that, just like a really rich area. I'm actually not gonna say that just because there's one of the Olympic winners actually lived up the street from there. We knew about it because they exposed his house on the news, and he actually bombed the front of their house, like the wall off the street, not their actual house. And they built up a case on him. He's been bombing for years, but only in the hood. And obviously they wouldn't do anything to him because nobody cares about the hood, and they got bigger problems to worry about. The cops got to worry about shootouts, drugs, and all that stuff. And he lived in the worst neighborhood, so he didn't have no problem at all. He even tagged in front of his house, and he still get away with it. So he's making those mistakes. But as soon as he hit that spot, like a month later, he got arrested. They had this case built on him. They brought up stuff for him for his hood. They were just being petty, and he had to pay over like $10,000, and he had to do jail time. And it was just bad. It was like the worst thing I've ever seen. Almost might as well have caught a body at this point. Another thing is, the obvious: don't carry black books, or any kind of stuff like that you have ready. Or I would say, or then don't dress. I think these also go hand in hand as number 3. Don't dress up as like somebody that writes. I still unfortunately make that mistake because I know some people just like to go out fresh. For some, so I'll put on some Air Maxes, some Jordans, and I'll go out, like some old Jordans, of course, and I'll go out and paint. But I look like somebody because I actually recently did a fill. Like I said, I don't upload everything I do, even though people think I do. I really don't. Honestly, I lately haven't been pulling my camera. I've done like 4 or 5 fills, and then I don't even bring out my camera. I don't do much tags because I'm not much of a tagger anymore, but I do once in a while, unless it's for markers. But anyways, so yeah, I don't do that much. I would say the reason I say that is because I've noticed that whenever I'm walking and I'm dressed a certain way, like how I was dressed when I was younger, it catches a lot of attention. Like people start looking at me and they start kind of peeping around. They're like, well, he doesn't look like a tweaker. So why is this dude around here? Like, oh, he's probably gonna paint because I go to a yard, I gotta go in through the main street. Just like that recent piece I did, I actually had people watching me, but luckily, you know, I mean, I honestly didn't care that day. I was like, you know what, I found an exit strategy, because you always go into place with a plan B, like where to go. If the cops come this way, you gotta go this way, you gotta go this way. You kind of gotta always have a strategy. You can't just go in there blindly and then just take your chance because you'll get caught. But another thing is, so yeah, man, just try to dress up. Honestly, if you can dress as bummy as possible, you know, mix in with the tweakers, that'll be best. I mean, that's the best way. I mean, you can go tag on a suit for all, you know, all I care. Just make sure you're discreet, wear black at night, and don't look like what you are. So that says number 3. Number 4, don't tell people what you write. I would say that's a big one. The reason I say that, my last video, I kind of went on a little rant. Not the last, yeah, the last video I talked on, it was the one where I went into the yard, into a train yard. I kind of went on a little rant. You know, I noticed there's a lot of graphers that are snitching. You know, there's a lot of snitches. Like, honestly, you know, a lot of snitches. I almost like got so upset with them because I have beef with like 3 of the snitches. There was actually one that still writes, but he is or was a cop. Like, he's actually, like, first he was a CO, and then he actually moved up to sheriff. And I remember because he was posting this shit on like Instagram all like live, and I was like, and I thought he stopped writing maybe, right? But all his family writes. Like, this dude comes from a family of like writers, and like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, the dudes that are in his crew, they're like really known out here. But yeah, guys, you know, I just thought, you know, you just gotta be careful with that kind of stuff, because like I said, I know a lot of like there's like a lot of, you know, snitches. They let you slide, man. Like, at the end of the day, you'll get away with it because of the simple fact that you can paint. Because I'm not gonna lie, about like 2 or 3 of these dudes, even the one that's a cop, they're pretty talented. A lot of them, they're like backyard dudes. They do a lot of backyard shit, and they go onto the main street and they're already like fucking piecing, which is fine too. You know, that's the whole point, is to practice and go out, you know. So I guess they do this thing the traditional way or the right way, because I always noticed, I was like, I barely started seeing these dudes getting up and they're like already fucking piecing and dropping these like crazy ass bombs. And then, but they were like, I mean, they don't get out their neighborhood, man. They're all just like downtown, you know, art district and shit. That's all they fucking do for the most part. They're not really, you know. But anyways, the next thing, man, is gloves. Wear gloves all the time. When I got arrested, I had paint on my hands, and it was you know, that's kind of what kind of like kept them on here, because even if they don't have full evidence, I mean, the paint in your hands, what they'll do is what they did to me. They kept me out there for like, I think like 3-4 hours. I can't remember, man, it's been so long. With no shoes on, and it was cold. It was like in the 60s, 50s. Where I'm at, it's hot, so 60s, 50s is cold to me if it's in that kind of temperature. So I'm like freezing my ass off. It's like 50-some degrees, 60-some degrees, and then it's like, I'm cold. They took my sweater away, so they're just kind of pressing me. And then obviously I messed up and gave them my phone, and then when they opened my phone, it was a wrap after that. But yeah, gloves, man, that's very important, I think. It's a little harder though, sometimes with the can control, it bothers you, but you get used to it. I still have that tendency to forget sometimes, but I've been starting to kind of pick up a habit of it, especially now that I'm older. You know, they'll probably, you know, kind of they'll get on me worse than they would a teenager since I'm an adult. 6 would be, this is a new one. This is, I don't think anybody's covered it. Tarps. If you have the money to invest in tarps, or you want to take some from a construction site, if you really want to go through the trouble of unhooking it, tarps. Personally, I haven't got to use this method yet, but I'm going to. So you can't just use it anywhere, man, but in certain areas you can actually, like, if you're hitting like there's a spot I'm peeping out right now. Well, I already hit the spot, but I'm gonna hit it again because it got buffed. But I waited like a month before I hit it. I only hit it with a throwy. I didn't upload it because I didn't like how the throwy came out. You know, they buffed it because some toys went in there. Again, you know, the other thing is I've been getting side busted, so somebody will go and do their ugly ass little shit, and then it'll get me buffed. Like, I'll have shit for like years, and then somebody does something, and then like it's buffed in 2 months. I'm like, damn, it burned for 2 years, and then because somebody so anxious to, you know, side bust on it, they did their ugly ass bomb. I'm sure they would have let it slide if it was clean, but it was like, so there's dudes or toys, so obviously they buffed my shit too while they were at it. I would say tarps. You can hang them on the fence. The reason I say that is because if you guys want to do a full-on piece, reality is it's kind of hard to do a full-on piece and actually focus, unless you just don't give a fuck if you got the balls, while having to look out, especially if you're going alone. If you got to look out, I mean, you don't necessarily need them. It's a good safety, but I would say, honestly, tarps would be the way, especially me, because I go alone. I actually don't go anybody. I don't really hang out with the tagger dudes because, you know, they're just weirdos, different personalities. You just can't get along. So I go alone now versus when I was younger. I used to go, like, honestly, used to go with a lot of people, which, but yeah, I would say tarps. I would say masks, like this one, for example, something like this along the lines, but this also kind of makes it a little obvious if you're getting Main Street spots, so it's a little difficult. And then magnets on the cans. It won't work for all cans because some cans have the little plastic, the little ball inside them. They're plastic, so it won't work on all of them, but it helps because you're walking around with the cans making noise and stuff like that. So I would say that's number 6. And then you know, as I was speaking about going alone, this actually brings me to my next one. Try not to go in groups. I remember when I was younger, I used to ride with, like, I told you guys a story before, I used to ride with different people. It was really weird that we didn't make a crew. I think we just, like, because we all had our own crew, and then all of us, like, I think, like, out of 3 of us were, like, the heads of our crew. So I feel like we were bumping heads on that leadership stuff, and we just couldn't get along to, like, somebody being under somebody else, which is kind of the other thing that makes it kind of hard being a crew, because you feel like you're under somebody's leadership, then it can drop you at any time for any reason. But I won't get too much into that. But yeah, I was hanging out with these guys. One of them's from California, and then the one time I got arrested was with them. And then there's been other incidents where I almost got caught because we're rolling up. Like one time we even came, like I pulled up in like my 95th Eclipse, and we're like mobbing deep. Like this is a coupe, keep in mind, and we're like 7 of us just squeezed in the coupe, and then we went to a yard at night. It was like 2 in the morning. We're smoking, drinking, and 2 of them guys, they decided to get brave. Well, actually, I was one of them. I'm stupid. We actually jumped up and went on the freeway, and then we got, you know, some tags in because the yard is right under the freeway. It's like literally under the freeway. So we went up, and then obviously somebody called the cops on us, seen us, and then cops pulled up and we all ran off, and then we got away, but it caused a scene, and actually, you know, people actually got caught because they're like, oh, it's not just 1 or 2 of them, it's literally like 8 of them or 7 of them. So, and then the time I got caught was also because I was in a group, so it's kind of hard to ride with a group. So I would say if you can ride alone or just ride with 1 or 2 people, I think 3 people is a crowd already, so I think that would be the most. But yeah, that would be the other tip. Even though as fun as it is, yards I think are okay, but if you're gonna go hit main streets, I don't think it's a good idea, my opinion. Number 7, don't leave cans in yard. I'm not sure of this rule. I think it's more like just not to heat up the yard, because I feel like there's like an unspoken agreement where, you know, as long as you don't leave anything behind already on top of already vandalized the place, if you don't leave anything behind, I think you're good. And then also I think fingerprints, I'm not 100% sure for this reason, but it's just been an unspoken rule. They just don't leave cans in the yard, because you'll heat up the spot, and then eventually you'll just ruin it for everybody. So number 7. And then also you can ruin it for yourself, because I've had a situation where I've been chased out of a yard. I'm like comfortable going in, I'm like, oh yeah, this yard's always dead, and then for some reason there's like those vandal squad dudes or whatever looking for people and shit. Number 8, this is the final one, and this is the one that's gotten me out of a lot of trouble. The times I've supposedly gotten caught, but I really didn't, because they didn't have anything pinned against me. I have an alibi, if that's what I'm saying. So pretty much have a storage setup. I would say that one would be I always have a story before I get out there, like, hey, I'm gonna pick up my girlfriend, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, because there's been situations where the cops will wait for you to get in your car, because they'll be like, oh, we don't want to catch them on foot because we can probably lose them. Just get them in the car, because at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to get away in the car, and if they get your plates, I mean, it's a wrap anyways. They'll just pull up to your house and shit. So I would say number 8, have an alibi. And also refuse to have them search. Like I've had them try to search, and I've literally refused, like, hey, I decline consent. And some have searched anyways, but I was always ahead of the game on that one too. I would put my paint under the spare tire. And back then, I don't know if there was a new thing, because I know now they look everywhere. They would never find it. The 3 times I got pulled over, they could never find them. So that was the good thing. And then it helped that my my spare tire on the car was like really big. It was like an abnormal one. It was almost damn near a full tire, so that also helped. That was when I had like a Lincoln or something like that. It was crazy. Like I literally pretty much had an extra full tire, so it wasn't even much of a spare. But yeah, I would say I have an alibi, I have a story. Situation I'm gonna tell you guys. One time I was bombing around downtown, and cops pulled me over. They did search my car, but I was already ahead of them because I saw them looking at me when I was doing it, and I was like, yeah, these dudes are gonna follow me to my car. So I try to wait, but honestly I just panicked, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna go to my car. For like, I guess I felt safe going to my car because like once I'm in my car they won't be able to see me or see who I am because I have tint. And but I just had a gut feeling. I was like, leave the paint. So I left the paint somewhere hidden. I wrapped it up in the bag I had, put it in a really hidden spot, and I was like, I'll just come back for it tomorrow or something like that. I only had like 2 full cans anyways, but I didn't want to waste paint on being a cheapskate. Well, I was racking at the time, so it was free anyways, but even then, it cost me, it was risking my freedom to get paint. And yeah, so yeah, I did that. And then yeah, 2 blocks over, I get pulled over. They're checking my car. They're like, hey man, so you're doing any graffiti tonight? The guy was being a douche, trying to be sarcastic. And I was like, nah man. I'm gonna, like, dude, I'm like 19, bro. I'm like, what do I look like doing graffiti, bro? I'm out here like my girl's house, just handling business, and I try to play it off as like some player and stuff. And then they're like, can you get out the car? And I was like, for sure, and luckily I didn't, I don't smoke weed or nothing like that. And then I didn't take my gun that day because I was younger. I didn't have, all my guns were hot because I was always buying guns from the hood like a dumbass. So I didn't have anything illegal pretty much. The cans would have been the closest thing, because I think by then I already had a court order that I'm supposed to stay away from spray paint because they give you some weird ass stipulation like that whenever you get arrested. But anyways, they pulled me out the car, asked me stuff. They kind of pressed me a little bit, but they didn't. Honestly, the cop seemed like he was pretty cool for the most part, so he didn't press me too much. But obviously he's a cop still, so and after a while he just let me go because he's like, he told me straight up, he's like, even if I wanted to do something to you, I can't. You don't have no evidence. I know it was you over there, but just whatever you did, you did it pretty good. Like, he even complimented me because these are hood cops, boys in the hood cops type shit. So they were pretty cool, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, I remember them being pretty cool. So for the most part, I pretty much laughed it off. It was kind of like a cat and mouse chase, whatever, right? It's like hanging out with the villain or some shit. But yeah, that was pretty much it. That was the worst incident I had, at least or not the worst incident, but that's the closest incident I had where I almost got caught. And if I would have took those cans with me, they probably would have booked me. So, but yeah, overall, guys, that's pretty much it. Overall, if you guys have any questions, concerns, or anything else you guys like to add, any like tips, by all means, I'm more than willing to take advice. You guys can put them down in the comment sections. But with that being said, you guys take it easy, man, and stay up.